Hey, what's up? Alright. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Meet the Dog. I'm Chris, this is Aniela, and with us today is Davis. Davis is from the Christmas litter, born back in Christmas 2021. His parents are Trip and Capri. Davis is weighing in, and I think last time we weighed him, it was like 135 or something like that. He was definitely one of the heavier ones. He is the biggest boy that we have in the barn. Fred is heavier, but Davis has height on him. He eats twice a day, 3 cups each. He loves food. He is a big eater. He scarfs it down. He is doing pretty well in his training. He has a big problem with his nerves. That seems to be like the one thing really holding him back. Is he?
Over the horse tools earlier today. He was like, "What are those?"
Yeah. It seems to be holding him back a bit. I did see some good notes about his pace and bracing and all of that. But he does seem like he has a big problem with anxiety and drool. I saw notes about him slobbering everywhere while training. Also, we've been doing a bit of training here at the farm. Now, the kennel assistants are doing a bit of recall and kennel training. One of the things that I noticed, and I've noticed this with all the Christmas litter actually, is that they have a tendency to hyperfixate on things, where they'll have their attention on you 1 second, and something else will happen, and their focus will snap to that, and then just be like you won't exist. A lot of them are pretty good about snapping back to you. I would say Jack is the one who has the tendency to take the longest, but that's just something, a bit of a problem that they have, is they just kind of hyperfixate on things around them. But other than that, it seems like he's doing pretty well. So we'll keep holding out hope for him. I'm going to open it up now to any questions about Mr. Davis. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Oh, no problem. Sorry about that. Just had to answer a quick question. All right. Any questions about Mr. Davis? I will try to think of anything in the meantime. One thing I would like to point out, Davis, he looks so much like his Uncle Turby. Did you ever meet Turby on Aniela? No, he was before your time. And then he did come back recently, actually, to work on some training, but I don't think you were here that day. But we really got to see it then. Yeah, he looks so much like his Uncle Turby. How is he like his parents? That is from Crafty. I will say he definitely has his dad, Trip's colors. He has almost the exact same colors as Trip. A lot of his spots are kind of in like the same spot. He's a bit of a whiner. Yeah, he's got the big head and the jowls. He's a little bit of a whiner. Definitely looks-wise, he definitely takes after his mom's side of the family. Like I said, I was just saying before I switched to the question, he looks a lot like his Uncle Turby. So he definitely has a similar facial structure to his mom. But he definitely has his dad's jowls and the same colors. So, and like, yes. Crafty asks, what are his favorite treats? Literally anything. He'll eat anything. He scarfs down food. It used to be the big eaters were Fred and Sloan, and they've since been replaced by Davis, who is our vacuum. Both of them single-handedly have been replaced by Davis. He just vacuums it all down. So his favorite treats are pretty much whatever we put in front of him. He will just inhale. Amber asks, what things does he excel at besides eating? I saw some good... That's a really good question. Thank you, Emperor. um, I did see some good notes about his pace and his bracing. Obviously, yeah. When he does pull a little bit sometimes when he gets excited, but when you do have his attention and he is focused on you and walking with you, he has very good pace. Obviously, he's very big, so he's very good for bracing. He's really got a good stature for that. His recall's pretty good. Like I was mentioning earlier, sometimes the Christmas litter tends to hyper focus on things around them, and you can lose them. But when you when you can correct them, when you recall them, they're usually very good about their recall and their kenneling up. Davis usually does a very good job recalling and kenneling up. Though I haven't done any actual recall training with him yet. I still need to do work on that with him. Though I can't imagine he's going to do too poorly. Crafty asks, how is he on overnights and outings? I know he's gone on a couple overnights, and I've heard very good things about those. He did very well on those. I don't know if he's gone on any to any events. I'm not sure. I think he does tend to get a little bit nervous. Like I was mentioning earlier, he has a bit of anxiety, and unfortunately that causes him to drool like crazy. He is probably our worst slobber monster. But I have heard very good things about overnights at the very least. Very, very good things about those. AntGR asks, with whom does he like to play, and does he have a favorite trainer or caretaker? Yeah, Sister. He loves to play with Sister. The two of them have been together for a long time. When they first came down to the barn, it was when we started splitting the Christmas puppies up. Davis and Sister ended up together, and they were together for a long time, and that it still shows. They play together real well. I don't know if he has a favorite trainer or caretaker. Of course, I like to think that it's me. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and just say that, because right now no one here is here to stop me from saying that, right? Exactly. So Aniela is also his favorite, and since no one here is here to prove us otherwise, that's what we're gonna go with.
Look, he's holding my foot.
Yeah. Crafty asks, do you think he's better suited for a larger adult? I don't know if he's better suited for it, but he definitely has the capacity for it. That's definitely, yeah, because as I said before, he is one of our tallest dog in the barn right now. Though Crusher might be gaining on him a little bit, but Crusher's a lot lankier than Davis. Davis also has a lot of weight to him. So I mean, yeah, he'd definitely be pretty good for someone on the taller side. But yeah, he still has a bit of a ways to go before we start figuring any of that out. We do need to get him to work on his nerves a little bit, get him to mature. Amber asks, when he's out training, how does he do in crowds, with kids, smaller dogs? I don't know about kids or smaller dogs. Crowds, it sounds like he does get a bit nervous with crowds, which is something that our trainers have been working on him with. When we have visitors to the barn, we will try to, and they want to spend some time with dogs, sometimes we'll try to get Davis out with them just to kind of get him used to that a little bit. He definitely does get a little nervous around new people, though, so crowds are not his strongest suit right now. We are trying to work on that, though. I don't know about kids or smaller dogs, though. I have not heard anything that I can remember off the top of my head, I should say. What the? Oh. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Now you're settled down there. You're doing pretty well. Ain't that right? Yeah, he's chilling. Oh, you're not even holding. You're not even holding the leash. Okay. Good boy. Good boy, Davis. You're doing very well. That's a good weight.
The only distraction there was is because I was patting him. He's bald hair.
Yeah. Boy. All right. Any other questions about Mr. Davis? Who is doing very well right now. Yeah, Davis is definitely infamous around the barn for his slobber.
Yes.
Literally, we will change his water, and he will take a single sip of water, and we have to change it again because it just looks, it is destroyed. Absolutely destroyed.
Ruins water. No one's been able to figure out how to do that yet.
Oh, yeah. I know. I have seen some others do that. There are definitely other dogs who've done that in the past. But yeah, he is. Oh boy, those jowls do a number on everything.
No human has scientifically been able to ruin water permanently, except for Davis.
He's gotten it in my friggin' hair before. I was bending down to do something. He was out. I must have been poop picking. All of a sudden, he just smears it all over my head, and I'm like, "Oh, this is fine. I needed something to put in my hair to slick it back today." Yeah, thank you, buddy. All right, I'm going to give it a couple more minutes for any last-minute questions about Davis. Well, Davis is getting some compliments. Cammy has said that he is handsome, and he sure is. He is a gorgeous dog. All the Christmas litter they're gorgeous dogs, real handsome. Amber asks, Davis is about 18 months old. How long does it usually take for a Great Dane to outgrow puppy brain? So it can really vary. I remember his uncles, Turby, Keiko, Rambo, and Proxy. Three of them who went out as service dogs. One of them almost made it, but he ended up getting arthritis in their legs. But the four of them, they had puppy brain for almost the entire time that I worked with them. And I think that they were about 2 years old when it finally clicked for them. And when it clicked for them, they're doing fantastic. They are amazing service dogs. The three of them that became service dogs are doing real well. And then, of course, Rambo, who couldn't make it because of his arthritis. I mean, even he would have been amazing if it wasn't for that. So I mean, it can vary. And I mean, we have dogs who a lot earlier on it just snaps for them, and you're like, oh, they've outgrown it. So I'm holding out hope that he will outgrow it, and it'll kind of click for him like it did for his uncles. I'm hoping for the same thing with Jack and Wallace too, because they still can be a bit immature at times. But I would say there's really no like rough estimate for like when they could outgrow it, because I mean, it could be within the next couple weeks. He might never outgrow it. Crafty says his slobber water could fertilize the plants, and that he should do a kissing booth. And that second comment, I don't think I would wish on anyone. Kathy asked, how long is and this is going to be our last question, but this is a very good question. How long is training, and how are Davis and the other dogs matched with a person? This is a great question. So the training, there's no real hard time limit for it, or at least not one that I know of. I think the kind of like rough timeline is obviously we want to finish before 3 years, because Danes on average live to about 8 to 10 years, so we want to get them trained sooner rather than later. And we try to begin their training like as early as we can. Like with the Poppins litter, we are already working on things with them to get them training. A lot of them are kind of already starting to learn their names. So we're starting training very early now. As for how he is matched, or how dogs are matched with a potential recipient, Lynn is going to know a lot more of the exact details of it. But more or less what it is we have a whole list of things that we look at. We look at the recipient's walking pace. We look at the dog's walking pace. Obviously, we look at both the dog and the recipient's height, make sure that they're a good match for each other. We look at the recipient's environment. Like if we have a dog who is great at everything, but maybe has a little bit of anxiety around traffic. Obviously, we're not going to match that dog. If that dog goes out, we're not going to match them with someone who lives in the middle of Boston. We're going to try to see if we can find someone who lives a bit further out, say in like New Hampshire or Maine or something like that. So we look at the environment. We look at their home situation. Like, do they have other pets? Does this dog get along well? Will this dog get along well with other pets, or are they going to be better off as an only child? So there's a whole lot of variables that we look at, and it's why the process can take a long time, because we really need to wait for the right match, because we don't want to be putting a dog out who is he is real bad at like traveling in cars or trains or anything like that, to someone who's going to be doing a lot of travel for their work. That's just not going to work out. That dog's going to be coming back to us within the month. So Lynn definitely has would have a better explanation for it, which you could definitely ask her that on Sunday. It's a wrap. But that's kind of like the general basic criteria that I know, is that we look at all these kind of different factors, and once we know that once we're confident that a dog will do well as a service dog, and once we think we have found someone who will be a good match for them, that is when we bring them to meet each other, at which point they will be working one-on-one with the trainers to sort of make sure that they will work well together. If the recipient is a first-time recipient, we make sure that they know how to handle the Dane, that they know the commands. Obviously, if it is a second or third-time recipient, someone who has already had service dogs, obviously the process is not going to be or the matching process itself is not going to be as extensive, because at that point they already know a lot. So it's just really making sure that the recipient of the dog is used to each other. But we really try to make sure that everything works out before we send them on their way, because we don't want these dogs to come back. We want to make sure that they get out and that they are helping people, and that we never have to see them again. Yeah, he's just shedding everywhere. So it is a whole process. It's very extensive. It can take a while, but that's kind of what we need. It needs to be for it to make sure that it works. And honestly, we've been having some very good matches lately. So that was a very good question. I went on a bit of a tangent there. But thank you all for tuning in. We will be back next week with another dog. So everybody have a good night. All right.